Hello, I'm glad you're here. So today we're just saying, go home. So today we are in Luke 15:11 through 24. And it says, a certain man had two sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the young son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance on riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into the fields to feed swine. And he had fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. And when he came to himself, he said, How many hired servants of my father's house have bread enough and to spare, and I perish with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and will say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. Take me as one of thy hired servants. And he arose and came to his father, and when he was yet afar off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the father said unto him, and the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in thy sight, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. But the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet, and bring thither the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to be merry. Now, sometimes we may look at going home as a failure. You've tried to do what you thought would make you successful or what made you happy, and you run out of options and you just find yourself going home. But going home's not a failure. Going home is a new beginning. Going home is going back to where the foundations of your life were laid. That's where those foundational principles were learned. Going home is a restart, it's a fresh start. Going back home is where your support system is found. It's getting back to the basics. When we played ball, when the kids played ball, we've all been through a slump. We can't win for nothing. We keep making mistakes. And every time the coach will say, it's time to get back to the basics. We've got to practice those basic skills and get those down and build our foundation, and then we can begin to win again. It's doing the basics well. So the prodigal son here, he was out of options. The only thing that he knew to do was to just go home. He was embarrassed. He was ashamed. He had made mistakes. But yet he was willing to humble himself and just go back home and just be a hired servant. And it was just to be close to his father. He just wanted to go home. I love seeing in verse 20 that when he was a great way off, his father saw him and had compassion on him and ran to him. Even being far away, his father just knew. He knew that his son had probably done some things, that he had probably been through some things, that he'd probably made mistakes. I'm sure you could tell by the countenance or the way that his son looked that he was not well. And he knew that his son needed him, and he was coming. He was coming home. And his father welcomes him back, just welcomes him back with open arms. He didn't scold him, he didn't lecture him. He just welcomed him with open arms. That's how God does us. When we've wandered far away from God, when we've made mistakes, when we think we can handle it all on our own, that we've got this, so we begin doing everything on our own, planning our lives, planning our futures, doing everything that we can, that we think we can be successful or what's going to make us happy. And we wander away from God. and He welcomes us back with open arms. He doesn't ask questions, He doesn't scold, He doesn't lecture. He just welcomes us back with open arms. He knows that we just want to be near Him. We all know what it's like when we go on a long trip. We plan the trip, when we get excited about the trip, and we go on the trip, we have fun, we have a good time. And by the time we get back, it's time, ready, the trip is over, it's time to go home. We're exhausted, we're wore out, maybe broke, and it's just time to go home. And we cannot wait to get home. Can't wait to sleep in our own bed. We can't wait to just be comfortable, to chill, to relax, to have a refresh, a fresh start. We just are ready to be home. It's good to be home. So if you've wandered away from God, if you've made mistakes, He's ready with open arms, just waiting to welcome you back in. He knows. He knows what we've done. He knows where we've failed Him. He knows. Yet He welcomes us back with open arms. It is good to be home. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.